Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a get ready with me video using the new Stila Nouveau natural eyeshadow palette. Loving this palette. It's a beautiful mix of like shimmers and mattes and like all neutral shades naturally. So I figured I'd do a look with that. I haven't done my makeup yet for today, so I just prepped my skin, did my skincare, and then put on the Kate Somerville oil-free moisturizer, which I've been loving for the summer. I actually use it year-round, but I especially like it in the summer because it's nice and lightweight. And for my foundation, I'm going to do the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue in the shade Opal 01. I've talked about this foundation before. I really did not think that I was going to enjoy. I liked this foundation in the cooler weather, but I really wasn't sure that I would like it in the warmer weather. I just was afraid it was going to be too shiny, and surprisingly, it's not. It does have a little bit of a dewy finish. It does settle down a little bit to like a natural finish, and I just use like a, touch-up powder throughout the day, but I just love the way this stuff makes my skin look. I said it before in another video when I was talking about my summer foundations. My summer foundation video that I talked about this foundation, and I said how when you first put it on, it's incredibly sheer. Like every time I put this stuff on, I'm like, this stuff doesn't cover at all. This does no coverage. And then after about 15 or 30 seconds, it begins to kind of all come together, and I get this like beautiful coverage. I don't know what foundation is doing. It's like tricking me, but I really, really, really enjoy it, but only after about 30 seconds or so when it begins to kind of settle down. So that's it finished. And then I'm just going to grab some concealer. I'm going to do the Terribly Denseless by Terry concealer. You guys know I've talked about this before. I love it. I don't often use concealer on my face, meaning like I don't spot treat with concealer. I find that my foundation will do a good job of that. And if I need any more coverage in a certain area, I typically just apply more foundation. I tend to like to save my concealers for under the eyes. I mean, sometimes I've used a concealer here and there to spot treat, but it's not like a 100% rule that I do that, but typically I do like to use my foundation for just build it up in a little more areas that I need some more coverage. Okay, so that is the finished face. I just dropped a brush down there, but that's okay. All right, then let's put on eyeshadow primer, and I'm using the NARS Pro Prime Smudge base stuff. Just put a little bit on the lids and just dab it with my finger all over the lid. Then I'm going to do my brows. I need to get my brows threaded this week, so they are a little bit a little messy and that kind of thing, but I'm going to use my Hourglass brow tool just to kind of end up. Okay, Elmo's having a little freak out here in his little bed. All right, what are you doing, Mo? What's wrong? All right, something scared him in his bed. All right, so I'm just going to use the Hourglass Brow Perfecting Tool and just fill in my brows. I've been using this brow tool for so long. I absolutely love this stuff. There's like 3 brow products that I use regularly, and it is the Hourglass Brow Tool, the Anastasia Brow Wiz, and the IT Cosmetics Your Brows But Better. Now, the IT Cosmetics one, Your Brows But Better, that is a universal shade, which I've said before, I'm like, I don't understand how it's universal, but it works perfectly for me and my dark hair, and it's a really skinny pencil as well as the Anastasia Brow Wiz is. So, don't you, I hate to say it, but doing my brows is my least favorite part of my makeup, just because I can never get them 100%, you know, even and that kind of thing. I always say they're sisters, not twins. So I just hate doing them. Just so, but anyway, I gotta do them. We gotta do what we gotta do. Okay, so that's all set. Now let's get on to the eyeshadow. And I'm going to use, where is it? I'm going to use this golden shade right up here, which is called, can I use that? Yes, I'm going to use that, which is called Instinct. I'm sure you guys are familiar with, if you know Stila, the famous shade is Kitten. So that's this one right here. It's like a famous shade that she's had around forever. And it's kind of a warm champagne color. But I like this Instinct shade. It's a little more golden. And I'm just going to grab a flat brush, like this like MAC 239 brush, and just pat it on, just with a pressing motion. There's really so much you can do with this palette. You can, you know, do a smoky look, you can do natural looks, you can do a more involved look, you can just do one color on the lid. I mean, there's so many great options with this palette. I've just fallen in love with this palette. Now this shade is a little shimmery, so I could definitely use a matte shade over top to help kind of bring down some of the shimmer. I don't know if you guys ever do that. When I put on a shimmer shade or shimmer eyeshadow that I feel is too kind of glittery or sparkly or whatever, I take a more matte shade and then I just kind of swipe it over top. So I'll use this second one right here. It is called, I think, Desire. And I'll just take that with a flat brush and press it all over as well. Like literally just on top. So you'll still have some of the glow from the shimmer will come through, but it just tones it down ever so slightly, which I like. And I find it's, you know, much more wearable, and it looks just kind of like a nice luminescent look rather than super, super shimmery. And then I'm going to go into the crease. I'll take a MAC 217 brush here. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. And I'm going to go in just powdery. That's the only thing about it. It's a very powdery shadow. And I'm going to stick with this kind of brown shade right here, this third one down. It is Understanding, it's called. Always have weird names. I'd love to be an eyeshadow namer. I'd love to like name eyeshadows. Just because you can, it's like always such interesting names. I'd love to be a product namer. I think that's what it is. Not even an eyeshadow namer, like a nail polish namer or a lipstick namer. Sometimes these names they come up with are absolutely hysterical. Like OPI, oh my gosh, can you imagine working in product development and naming the OPI shades? They're absolutely hysterical. Alright, so I'm just kind of pressing into the outer corner here and then just sweeping. Nothing too precise, to be honest. This is just me more getting the color and just blending it out a little bit. If I was going to go in, you know, if I was going to do much more of a dramatic eye, I would probably be more precise with, you know, the placement and whatnot, but just trying to give a little bit of depth and definition to the eye with this crease color. I'm going to grab a fluffier brush like the MAC 224, and sometimes that helps me get a much more kind of airbrush blown out effect with the blending. The 217, the brush that I just used from MAC 217, it's great for getting the color on and then going in with a much fluffier brush to really, really buff out the edges. And I always can do one eye better than the other. It's not always the case. And just take a little bit of the lighter shadow shade and kind of just go over the eyeshadow, go over the lid. Okay. And just go back. I mean, I could touch this up all day, right? That's why I try not to do too much of a complicated look, because I could just spend all day long touching up my like crease color and like drives me crazy. Okay. So pretty much it's just, you know, a little bit of definition in the crease. Then I'm going to go in with mascara. I'm not going to do a liner today. Well, you know what? Let's do a liner. I'm feeling a little adventurous. I'm going to take the dark brown shade, this kind of dark brown one right up here in the top. And I'm just going to go in with an angle brush. This is a MAC 266. I don't do liner that often, so let's just live on the edge here, you know? And I just press it into my lash line. I love a powder liner pressed in with an angle brush. I think it looks clean and you can get it really close to the lash line. It does take some practice. I mean, I've been practicing my own makeup for, you know, probably 15 years. So it wasn't like this when I first started doing my own makeup. And listen, my hands are still not as steady as they could be. They're definitely not, especially as steady as when I do someone else's makeup. But the brush does most of the work for you, so that you don't have to worry about, you know, making too many mistakes and making it come out not as clean as you need it to be. Okay, great. It was easy. It was kind of like a spur of the moment decision. I typically don't even plan my makeup looks before I film them, so getting the real deal. All right, next we're gonna go in with mascara, and I'm wearing the Chanel La Volume, which I've been really enjoying. It's very thickening, very volumizing, gives a pretty dramatic lash, but it is not water resistant in the least. Like, I stepped into the shower, I've told this story before, I stepped into the shower one night and I forgot I had it on, and it was literally like running down my face like Night of the Living Dead. Like, I looked crazy. So don't ever choose this for like a wedding mascara or anything, because you will look crazy if you cry. I've worn this before and I've been crying and it's just running down my face, so it is not cute. Try not to spend too much time on my lashes. When I'm really doing my makeup, like when I'm obviously not filming and I have the time to, I will just keep going with my mascara forever and ever and ever. I love lots and lots of coats of mascara. I mean, not crazy spider lashes, but I'm not opposed to really, I know this sounds crazy and you're probably gonna be like, gross, that's not attractive, but I'm not opposed to kind of like thick, clumpy lashes. Obviously not unattractively clumpy, but I don't mind if my lashes kind of clump together a little bit. Like, obviously I want them to still separate slightly, but I don't need them to be like completely combed out. I don't mind that kind of clumpy look. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird. I kind of like a really dramatic, thick, all over the place lash. All right, so I'm just gonna go with a little bit of powder through my T-zone. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, or whatever it's called. Like, what is it called? In the shade 1, just taking a nice flat brush. I'm just gonna kind of pat it into the T-zone. I typically would use, if it was like a loose powder, or even, I just don't have my powder puff with me. I love the Laura Mercier makes a great powder puff that I really like to use to kind of press the powder in, but I don't have it with me, so it's in the bathroom. So I'm just gonna use my flat brush, which still works. And that just kind of makes the T-zone a little bit matte. Then for the cheeks, I'm gonna use the Hourglass Ambient Lighting palette as a base to kind of start off. I love to use dim light right on the cheeks, like all over the cheeks, just kind of almost a priming's not a good word. It's just like it gives like a little bit of a glow to my cheeks, and I always find that my powder blush adheres a little bit better when there's some powder on my cheeks. So it's just ever so slightly, like a slight little contour. Today's cheek situation is going to be the Bobbi Brown Face and Body Bronzing Duo in Antigua and Golden Light. So I'm just going to use the bronzy shade all over my cheeks. So I'm using an Hourglass blush brush. And I'm just literally going to dust the bronzing shade on my cheeks. Not contouring or not, you know, trying to sculpt, just all over the cheeks. And then I'm going to take the pink shade in the palette. I really love this stuff. It really just gives such like a nice flush to the cheeks, like a nice bronzy glow. It's matte, which I enjoy, but it's not like a very flat matte. Okay, then I'll take the pink shade, just dab a little of my blush brush in there, and just right on the apples, just right there. Just gives like a little bit of that rosy finish to your cheeks, which I love. I mean, I can wear just bronzer on my cheeks, but I do like a pinky or peachy kind of pop, I guess. All right, and then I'm just gonna take that flat brush that I use for my Charlotte Tilbury powder and just kind of go over the whole thing. Okay, and then for the lips, I absolutely love this combination. I've been obsessed with this combination, and it's such a good kind of neutral nude lip, and it's a lipstick and a gloss, so it's the Clinique ColourPop lip colors. This one is in Beige Pop, and it's not incredibly nude, but it's like a peachy nude, and it's so beautiful. So pretty. But just like this, I feel it's a little too peachy for me. Like it's almost, it needs a little bit of color for me, at least. Unless I was doing a smoky eye, then I might just leave it like this. So I'm going to use Bobbi Brown Lip Gloss in Petal. Such a beautiful, gorgeous pink shade. And it's like, they never have it in stock. It's always sold out. It's like one of those popular shades. So if you can grab it, find it online or find it at a counter near you, I would highly recommend trying it. It is just a gorgeous pink gloss, but it looks just like lip color, but it gives like a little bit of a pink pop to the lips. It is a little sticky, I'm not gonna lie, so just know that. But that's the finished look. So it's, you know, not too dramatic on the eyes, kind of very fresh and glowing, but we did do that liner to give it a little more definition. And then the cheeks with the Hourglass palette and the Bobbi Brown bronzer. And then the lips with the Clinique Pop Color lipstick in Beige Pop and the Bobbi Brown Lip Gloss in Petal. And I will make sure to link everything below that I've used. And if you guys have any questions, leave me in the comments below. And I will talk to everyone soon. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.